Hello, my name is Milo and welcome to my rural DoorDash ride-along. In this video, I'm going to be comparing 3 different DoorDash zones. For the purpose of this video comparison, I am going to go from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. I have scheduled these dashes ahead. I am a Platinum Dasher. I don't have to schedule, but I did. And I'm going to log in at exactly 5 o'clock within the zone boundaries, and I will log out at exactly 9 o'clock unless I am in the middle of completing an offer, in which case I will finish that and then log out. Now, the first zone I'm going to do is Waldport. It is the furthest south of the 3. It is the most rural of the 3. It is my least favorite of the 3 zones because I've never had a successful shift there. However, I've never dashed in Waldport in the evening. So the Waldport zone also contains the city of Yachats, which is even further south. They're about 8 miles apart. These 2 cities combined don't have very many merchants who are signed up with DoorDash. I looked yesterday and found out they actually have a couple more than I remembered. I think they just added a couple more. There are like 2 grocery stores, 2 Dollar Generals, and a Subway is what it is now. I have no bar set for my expectations tonight. I'm doing this for the content. I would never, in my right mind, drive to Waldport just to do DoorDash, except for this video today. Here we go, 5 o'clock. Subway is a previously busy hotspot zone, and the only one. Well, it has been 1 hour, and I have not made any money. I have not even received a single offer. So it's not that I've been declining stuff. I haven't got anything. I'm very tempted to give up this dash and drive back to Newport or go further south and go out of the county to Florence. My wife tried to encourage me to do Florence instead of Waldport, which may have been a better idea. If I get an offer, I am going to accept it, no matter what it is, no matter what the pay is, no matter which merchant it is. Well, 7:17, I got my first offer. After 2+ hours of waiting, I got a Subway offer. It's $5 and change, 1.8 miles, I think. And with only a handful of merchants available, most of them being shopping merchants, I got the 1 restaurant option, which makes me happy because I don't love shopping orders. I got an offer! Well, it's really small town syndrome because I delivered to someone I know. I actually grew up not far from Waldport, so I do know a lot of people here. It is officially 8 o'clock and Subway closes at 8, and now it's saying no hotspots available. Not just previously busy hotspot zones, no hotspots available. All right, it is now 9 o'clock. I still haven't got any more offers. I am ending my dash. 4 hours, 1 out of 1 offers, $5.54. So here's the thing. I did not expect this shift to go well. I was doing this for the content. It went worse than I expected, but I wasn't expecting much. If we are just counting the miles driven during the 4 hours that I was logged in, I made $1.20 a mile. However, if you count driving to and from this zone from my house, we're looking at 11 cents per mile. And this is why rural dashing in an extremely rural market sucks. But we have 2 more zones in this county which are much better. And you'll see that when I come back for my shift tomorrow in Newport and Sunday in Lincoln City. All right, we are back in Newport. It is Saturday night. This is my usual zone. I just barely logged in and I get an offer. This is not a good one, but I'm not big on cherry picking and this shouldn't take very long, so I'm gonna do it anyway. $2.96, 1.9 miles. It's not technically upside down. So that was a pretty quick shop and deliver. I got it done about 5 or 6 minutes earlier than the offer card suggested. I had to wait about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I got a decent offer from Momiji. It was about $7 for 2 or 3 miles. Not bad. I got that order dropped off, and I immediately got an offer from 101 Burger. It's $12 going 8 miles into South Beach. The positioning's not good, and the cell service is kind of spotty there, but it's more than $1 a mile, and part of that mileage is what would have been dead miles coming back from this last drop-off. That order is dropped off. As predicted, I had some cell service issues, but I was able to mark it as completed. And then while driving back into the zone, I got a new offer. It's $5 for 8 miles, which looks upside down, but part of that is I'm driving dead miles back into town anyway. Well, I have the McDonald's order picked up. It was already ready, but I noticed as I was walking in that my screen said pick up by 5:54, and I was at about 6 o'clock, 6:01. So I thought, well, that's a problem. I literally couldn't have gotten there any faster. So I'm gonna have to check my on-time rate and see if I need to dispute it. I just got the new on-time rate the other day. That order is completed. I checked my on-time rate, and this one still counted as on time, so all is good with that. But I'm now at 2 offers in a row that took me out of the zone. One took me out of the zone to the south, this one to the north, this one not by as far. So I really would like to stay in the zone with my next offer. By the way, I'm at $27 in a little over an hour, which is not bad. Even though I took a couple offers that weren't that great, I'm still making a good hourly rate. I just accepted a $6 offer for a little over a mile from Crispy Crunchy Chicken. Well, twice in a row, I'm going right back to Crispy Crunchy Chicken. This time, it's $6.25 with a plus sign, so we know it's gonna be higher than that. The question is, by how much? I had to wait 15 minutes for that. I was hoping that DoorDash would give me the merchant delay pay, because I don't get that very often, but every once in a while they'll offer it. They did not. I let the customer know about the wait, and then she responded, and she also asked if I could ask the staff to include some extra empty boxes, because they didn't have plates at the hotel. Well, that went up to $10.25, so I'm now at $44 in just under 2 hours. I'm trying to look to see if that impacted my on-time rate, but it's not showing this order yet. The next offer was $4 and change for 4 miles to go to Safeway and shop for 4 items, 5 units. I declined that. I already took a couple of lowball offers earlier tonight, and I don't really feel like doing another one. While I'm still waiting for an offer, maybe I should have taken that Safeway. I looked again at my on-time rate, and that last one where I had a 15-minute wait still counted as on time. So while I waited at the store for 15 minutes, it was only 11 minutes late for the assigned pickup time, and then I was 2 minutes early for the drop-off with that adjusted time, so the total difference was 9 minutes late, and a total time difference of plus 9 minutes is within the on-time standards for this delivery. I think I'm gonna do it, because I've been waiting a little while at this point. I'm gonna do shopping after all. It's 6 items, but the pay is better. Shopping is done. All 6 items found, no substitutions. So that was only just barely less than a block outside of the zone. So this doesn't look like it's gonna be my best Saturday night shift in Newport. It's not a bad one. It's just not my best. I drove right back to the center of town, and Within a minute of parking, I got this order for Burger King, $5.25, 1.6 miles. And then I accepted a $6 offer from Momiji. I think the pattern today is that they're just all rather unremarkable offers, but they add up. And none of them are really taking that long to do either. There's just no remarkably good offers. Like, if I had very specific expectations for cherry picking, this would not have been the night to do it. And I wouldn't have been successful if that were my strategy. That was supposed to be a leave it at the door, but the customer was waiting outside for me to hand it to her. Now, here's the thing about that. You have a button that says handed order to customer, right? So you can do that to bypass taking the picture. Although, recently, for a while, it started prompting me after I pushed that button to say, well, just take a picture of the drop-off area. But now, they're not doing that anymore. And every once in a while, I get these notifications of, congrats, you took drop-off photos for 80% plus of leave it at the door deliveries, or less than 70% contain drop-off photos. You need to work on that. So in this case, what I did was, instead of clicking handed order to customer, I just went through the motions of taking the photo of the driveway after I handed it to her. So I forgot to take a screenshot, but I got a Taco Bell offer that was $5 and change, not going very far. And then that is an unnecessarily loud truck. While I was waiting for the order, because I had a long wait time, I got an add-on for Momiji for an additional $6 plus, which I also accepted. Hadn't even been a 10-minute wait when I got the worry-free unassigned. Maybe because I was on a stack? Maybe, I don't know. But I finally picked it up. Now I'm on my way to Momiji to pick up an order that is already ready. Both those orders are dropped off, and I did not have a chance to see what the Momiji order ended up being because it had the plus sign on it. I got a new offer, and this one's actually upside down, but I'm doing it partially as an act of charity because I feel generous. So that was actually pretty cool. I've never seen that before, but the order was already ready when I got there, and he was pulling it out of a red insulated bag. I don't know if it was a DoorDash bag or not. It went from his insulated bag into my insulated bag, and it'll be hopefully still warm by the time I drop it off. And it's 8:59 right now, which means this is going to be my last delivery tonight. How much did I make? I went 6 minutes over, had to go past 9 o'clock to complete that last one. My total earnings were $81.54, so I ended with approximately 20 an hour. So I'm gonna head home. And tomorrow we're gonna do Lincoln City. All right, Zone 3, Lincoln City, north end of the county. Lincoln City is a very large city because it was several smaller towns that joined together. So I'm having a hard time deciding where is the best place to park to get started. Now, I have dashed in Lincoln City before, usually during the day. I did one evening shift. I think it was a Thursday, but I've never done a weekend evening in Lincoln City. So this is gonna be new for me. Start my scheduled dash. It only took 5 minutes to get an offer. It was for Subway. It was $19 for 9 miles. So there's a little bit of mileage attached to it, but it is just barely over $2 a mile. $2 a mile becomes $1 a mile with the round trip, and I'm cool with that. I'm not really sure exactly what part of town this is I'm going to. It might be outside of town. I don't think it's out of the zone, though. All right, so while I was waiting for her to finish bagging the order, I looked at the customer's address to figure out exactly where I was going, and it's actually in Otis, which is an unincorporated little town just northeast of Lincoln City. So yeah, I am leaving town, but it's not leaving the zone. Well, I got that dropped off. I thought it was leave it at the door because the delivery note said knock, but then I saw him standing outside and realized it actually was a hand it to me. I think the note was just to knock if he wasn't already standing outside. While driving back into Lincoln City, I got a Taco Bell offer that is going right back to the Otis-ish area. This one isn't quite as good, but part of it is that I've got dead miles I'm doing right now to get back into town. And with these two combined, it's gonna take most of the first hour, but it's gonna put me at $27 and change for that first hour, which is a good pace. So I was going into the Taco Bell to pick up this order, and there was someone else walking up to the door, and I held the door for him, and then I realized he was also a Dasher. We were both coming to pick up orders, and both of our orders were ready. And this Taco Bell has a counter for DoorDash pickup, so you don't even have to talk to anyone. And both of our orders were sitting there. We both picked up our orders and left. And I noticed as I was picking mine up that there was a drink, and I didn't see a straw taped to it, and I couldn't open the bag to check for a straw, but I had a feeling there was no straw in it. So I just looked around and I saw a cup to pull straws out of. So I got the customer a straw just in case there isn't one in the bag. Returning back to Lincoln City proper from Otis, I had an offer unlike anything I have seen before. I don't like shopping orders generally, but I couldn't pass this up. It was $20-some with a plus sign on top of that. It's a huge item count to shop for, but they're giving me a full hour to complete it. So it's a good money to mile, and it's good hourly, even if the number didn't have a plus sign on it. So the shopping part of that is done. I got the offer at exactly 6 o'clock. It said deliver by 7 o'clock. Well, it's 7:02 as I'm leaving the parking lot. I had to do some substitutions, most of which I could literally see. This item is out of stock. I could take a picture of the shelf tag. The customer also added a couple of items while I was shopping. Well, I dropped that off. The total went up to about $32. It was a hand it to me, pin required. I've never had that for groceries before. And so he helped me unload everything. And their two dogs came out and were super friendly. One of them tried to run down the road, and he had to go fetch it before I drove off. And now I've got a new Safeway shopping offer that is upside down, but part of that is just where I was positioned when I dropped that one off. I don't think it's as bad as it looks, but it's only one item, so this should go a whole lot faster. All right, so I delivered the one item from Safeway to an apartment, and the way that apartment complex was set up, it was multiple buildings. The address given was for one building, but the pin on the map was for a different one, and the apartment number didn't include the letter for the building. So I ended up calling the customer to clarify which building I was actually going up to. Well, it didn't take long. I got an offer from Zeller's Bar and Grill for $6.25. I think it was 2 miles. Well, just what we like. We go in and it's ready to pick up. Their system is they have a shelf for DoorDash orders, so you don't even have to talk to staff. Clearly they haven't had a big problem with orders being stolen. And now I've got a $6 with a plus sign for less than 2 miles, and I am super close to it. Oh my gosh, this is, yes, I believe it is. That was the same ghost kitchen that I picked up from in my previous video, New Zone and Connection Issues, where I got pretty frustrated with my cell provider. What I don't know is, are ghost kitchens a secret? Like, is that something that they hide from their regular customer base in person? or is it just something everyone knows? I'm not sure, which is why I'm blacking out their name on the offer card. So I dropped that off and the total went up to $10, but before I could take a screenshot, I had another offer on my screen. It was a Safeway shopping order for about $8 and change. I wanted better, but I decided to take it anyway. While I was in the process of doing this shopping order, I got an add-on for another shopping order, which I accepted. And then I was starting to have some trouble finding some of the items, and it was becoming an increasingly difficult shop. And then they sent me a third add-on, and I said, no, I already have as much as I can take at once. And then they sent me a fourth add-on, and I said, still, no more shopping. 2 Safeways at a time when I'm having trouble finding stuff is all I can do. Not being able to find all the items, not doing a very good job, trying to juggle 2 carts at once because it wouldn't all fit in one cart. I'm gonna deliver these 2 orders. Holy expletive, it's busy. That's a restaurant pickup. I can do that add-on. By the time I've completed all of this, I'm probably gonna be past 9 o'clock and have to stop. Oh my gosh. I don't love stacks. I don't love stacks. Stacks are not always my friend. So I dropped off the first shopping order, picked up the food from Zeller's, dropped off the second shopping order. Now I'm on my way to drop off the food from Zeller's at a motel, and the app thinks I'm gonna get there at exactly 9 o'clock, but then I'm gonna have to find the room. So this is gonna be the end of the shift. So this shift basically had it all. It had 1 hour of back and forth to Otis, 1 hour of a big, huge shopping order, 1 run-of-the-mill hour, and 1 hour of stop stacking me with more add-ons. So, this was an exciting one. So, I dropped that off. I made $108.43 in 4 hours and 1 minute, because I ran over 1 minute to complete that one. That puts me at $27 an hour. That's great. I love that. I made over $2 a mile within the 4 hours that I was here. Now, if you factor in my drive to Lincoln City and back from my house, it's closer to 1-to-1. So doing this video comparison pretty much confirmed what I already suspected. I expected that Waldport was going to be very unsuccessful. I knew that Newport was going to be good on a weekend evening, because it typically is. I suspected Lincoln City also would be. I was hoping Lincoln City would be even better, and it was. I might even consider doing weekend evenings in Lincoln City more often. I just would have to be out for a long enough period of time to justify the commute here and back. If this happens to reach somebody who is considering joining DoorDash in Lincoln County, Oregon, here's a bit of a sample size for you to consider. I'll see you in the next video. I might have a series coming up in February. I'll drop more info on that when I'm positive if I'm doing it. In the meantime, happy dashing.